Okay.
It's recording. Sweet. Okay, YouTube, I realized that out of all my videos, I don't really have a lot of videos showing my Crested Gecko. And as some of you may know, she is technically my second reptile, though I consider her my first. My first reptile was an adopted green anole, and they're not really a good reptile pet, so I consider her my first real reptile. And she's usually, like, I finally got her pretty handle tamed. She wasn't this handle tamed. She was really, really jumpy when I got her and very skittish. And she can still be very moody and not want to be taken out of the cage. She can be really hard to extricate from the cage. She always wants to climb off my hand and onto everything else. But as you can see, when she's out, she's usually pretty good. I do literally scare the crap out of my gecko, though, because every single time I get her out, she poops on my hand. As you can see her, maybe there, she's licking herself, possibly licking her eyeball. Say hi to the camera, Butterscotch. She's like, what is that? I don't understand. I really don't understand. Is it focusing okay? Yeah, right about there. You see how it focused nice and crisp? Yeah, so keep it right about there. You might be able to see down her back, she's got some little spikes here down her back that stick out. Those are her actual crests. And then she actually has a dark line on either side of the middle of her back running along those crests. This is actually called an inverse pinstripe, which I didn't even notice this on her. Are you growling at me? I didn't even notice this on her when I bought her, so I was really excited when I noticed this. As you can see, they can be a little bit jumpy. She's starting to lose her baby energy now. She is, she's a sub-adult, so she's, I can't say how much further she's got to go. She's probably about half grown, right about now, and I absolutely love her. She's cute, she's fun to watch, she does a lot of really funny things. But back to what she is, this black stripe here, in the middle of the back on either side of the crest, is her inverse pinstripe. And you can see kind of some brown markings in there. That's called the flame pattern. On her side, she's got a little bit of striping right here. This is called a tiger morph. She has a little bit in her back legs, a little bit of coloring in her back legs. Nothing really on her front legs though. Though her front and back feet are a little bit gray, which is kind of cool. She keeps getting more color and kind of surprising me as she grows up. She's actually gotten brighter in color, or a little lighter. She was a darker, more of a golden orange when I got her. And now she's more of, well, it's not quite pastel yellow, but it's not really a sunflower yellow either. I'm not sure what you would call it.
Butter yellow?
Yeah, sure, butter yellow. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one, sis. Butter yellow. And her striping when I got her was much more brown than it is now. Now it's more of like a light brown, almost mahogany at times, and she's actually gotten some orange in her. Oops. Yeah, again, you can see they can be kind of jumpy. Come on, girly. You're comfy there, aren't you? Yeah. But as you can see, I've actually got her handle tamed pretty good. She lets me touch her head now. She is the only reptile I own that is not head shy. It took a lot of training though. I'm working on getting my leopard gecko like this. She walks really nice when I have her out. She's not real fast or anything, but I don't know if she's going to show you, but she's got a little bit of orange on her cheekbones. Right? Nope. There you go. Right here. It's a nice little orange blush right above my fingernail there, right behind her eyes. It's not really orange right now because she's not fully fired up, but she's much paler than this during the day, so she's somewhat fired up. You actually can practically can't see that inverse pinstripe down her back during the day. But yeah, she's getting a lot more orangey, more of an orangey brown, kind of a light brown kind of color going on in the stripes and everything. And you'll see too that this orangey color extends to the underside of those raised crests. Just kind of following it with my finger there. this is a double inverse pin. So again, I was really, really excited when I realized she's actually a pinner. So I'm really, really excited about that. So I'm hoping to at some point get her a male, pair her with a partial white pinstripe male or a phantom pin male. A phantom pin, it's not really a color difference. It's just the way the cresting is lined out. So these raised crests like this would actually be a phantom pin. And they'd be the same color as the body, but I would get them that they went the whole way from the head down to the tip of the tail on a male, if I did that. So I am hoping to breed her when she's full grown. Like I said, she's got a long ways to go. She's still a little baby. You're still a little baby? Yeah, you're still a little baby. Her tail, you can see, is a completely different color, and you may notice as I'm handling her, I'm being very careful not to pinch that tail or to get it caught on anything that she didn't mean to wrap it around, because crested geckos are, their tails are prehensile, so she can grip with things. You may have seen she wrapped it around my finger and caught it like a monkey. But they will actually, if they are scared, they will detach their tail without a second thought and run away. And it's a defense mechanism. The drop tail, as it's called, will wiggle around, and it's meant to distract a predator while they can escape. And crested geckos are really not attached to their tail at all. Unlike a leopard gecko, they will drop it without a second thought. They really have no means for the tail. If they lose it, whatever. In the case of a crested gecko, it does not grow back at all. A leopard gecko can regrow its tail. A crested gecko cannot. So I've been very, very careful with handle taming. It's taken a lot of patience to make sure she doesn't drop this tail. If I go into the cage and I smell funny, or she perceives me as a threat, or she's shedding and really doesn't want to be handled, she will shake her head and make this kind of sound. And she will also wiggle her tail, which is a sign that she thinks I'm a predator and she's prepared to drop that tail at any second. So if your crested gecko wiggles its tail around the tip really wildly, almost like a worm, step away from that gecko if you do not want to have a tailless lizard. So I've spent a lot of patience and effort for this. You can see right now she's kind of got that tip of her tail kind of around my arm. Not anymore. You might be able to see, but the tip of the tail is actually flat, like a little shovel. And there's a little pad on the underside of it that helps them grip. And the pad on the underside, it's exactly like the pads on their feet. So it's really, really good grip. Oh, no, you're not going to show us your tail? Don't jump on my glasses. I'm telling you, don't jump on my glasses. Cutie. Nope, we want to jump on the covers, of course. She's pretty active today, so that's good. She's pretty good. She's not too fat. She's not too chubby. Can you grow me entertainer? You're gonna stop now, huh? 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 No? No? I do absolutely love these geckos. They make an not necessarily maybe as far as care, they're beginner species on far as care. But as for handle taming them, they can actually be really tricky, again, because of wanting to drop their tail. And the fact that they're really jumpy, especially as babies, until you get them used to being handled. You kind of got to get an eye to spot for where they're going to jump and where you can put your hand to catch them. So when you're handling one, you should always handle it that if they do jump off your hand, they don't have a far drop. So I'm on a bed. It's nice and soft for her. And she's not really far off the ground, as you can see. She has completely dropped off my hand onto the floor and was just fine. I highly suggest trying not to let this happen because it can cause great harm, especially to a gecko that's really young and their bones are still really, really soft. So you do have to be careful with that. I actually handle trained her over a really, really large, like Tuppermade plastic container that was really tall and really wide, and I stuck my hands down in there so that if she'd jump and kind of run, she'd kind of get caught somewhere. She couldn't just run under my dresser and get lost. So you definitely want a spare cage or a big container to handle them over at first until they're a little bit calmer, like she is now. And you get a better, oh, you can't climb up that very well, can you? And you get a better eye for when they're going to jump and everything. She's actually really wound up. More so than normal. Come on, you gonna jump? Come on, show the good people on YouTube you're jumping. Oh, you did enough of that? Yeah. and there she had a fail. This species, what's awesome about them is in the wild, they not only eat insects, but they also eat the nectar and nectar flowers and like the fruits and juices of fruits from trees. So in captivity, we actually feed them a specially formulated powdered diet. T-Rex makes a brand, which is the one I use just because it's the easiest to get. But Rapace has one as well, which is the best known. It comes in multi-different flavors, and it's really simple. You just mix, for a baby, about 1/4 of a teaspoon with 2/4 a teaspoon of water, or 1/2 a teaspoon of water. As they get bigger, you're going to up that. So she actually, right now, she gets 1/2 a teaspoon of powder mixed with 1 teaspoon of water. And that's all she gets. That's the maximum that they will ever get. But I'm feeding her like an adult now, because she's a big girl and she goes through it. If she gets full, she just lets the rest sit and I clean out the bowl. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, that's really nice. If you're somebody that doesn't want to have to deal with crickets and live food, it creeps you out, or like me, you have no luck keeping crickets alive, powdered diet, you can feed that all your life. So for her, crickets and mealworms and whatnot are just a treat. So it's really handy. And another thing that's really great about this species, as long as you keep your house heated in the winter to a little bit more of a warmer temperature, and to a little bit warmer temperature, don't cool it down a whole lot in the summer, you do not need a heat lamp or a heat pad of any sort for this species. So I just keep my house between 70 and 78 at the maximum at all times of the year. I'm shooting for about 72 as my main temperature during the winter and the summer. Never needed a heat pad. I've had her now for, what, sis, 2-3 years?
About 3.
About 3 years now? Yep, about 3 years now. And she's been doing great, so it works very well. Not many people use heat lamps or heat pads, but if you live in a much colder place, you may need it. But again, low temperatures are not nearly as bad as fatal. At nighttime, they can have temperature drops all the way down into 68 degrees Fahrenheit. However, temperatures above 80 are considered fatal. They can stand temperatures of about 82 degrees Fahrenheit for a short period of time, but once you hit 85, it is absolutely fatal. So I try to prevent my temperatures in my house from ever reaching anything over 80 degrees. So I try to keep it no hotter than 78 in my house at all times of the year, and no cooler than 70 in my house. But at night, they do sometimes have that drop into the 68 degrees, but they can withstand colder temperatures much better than they can a warmer temperature. So as far as husbandry, they're very simple. They just can be very, very tricky to handle tame. So I suggest that if you are a beginner looking at that, this is your first reptile, and you're a complete beginner and you really want to start with this species, I suggest starting with at least a subadult. I suggest starting with something at least this size that's already starting to lose a good deal of its baby energy, so it's not going to be as hyperactive and jumping all over the place like the Energizer Rabbit. You may even want to just start right with an adult, possibly one that was owned by a small breeder, or one that somebody had as a pet and now they want to rehome it, they don't want it anymore. Something that's kind of already been socialized and had a little bit of time being touched and handled by humans. So for this reason, something from a pet store generally is going to be a lot more used to being touched by animals, because the customers coming in and wanting to see them, and because of the workers at a pet store needing to take them out, maybe move them around for cleaning, or even just to take them out and make sure that they're alive and okay. They're usually a little bit more used to being touched than if you're getting from a breeder, especially a big scale breeder. So if you are a beginner, because they are tricky to handle train, I suggest starting with one that's already kind of used to being touched a little bit. Start with something that's at least this size, something that's at least half grown, or even just start with an adult, in all honesty. I absolutely love this species. They're so cute. They have cute little upturned toes, which is really adorable. Cute little upturned toes. And you're not going to be able to see it in the video, but at the end of each one of these little upturned toes is an itty bitty little very clear claw. You can't feel it when they're walking on you. They only use the pads of their feet. They do occasionally need those claws, though, to climb up like the screening of the top of their cage, or on wooden objects such as grapevine wood or mopani if you're using that. Sometimes they need their claws for that if they can't quite get a good grip because they're on a rougher surface. And these holes in the head, there, my ear, that's actually her ears. It's just a little hole. Just like humans, it's just kind of a hole in their head where they can hear vibrations. They just don't have any outer thing. This particular species of gecko, a lot like a lot of lizards out there, do not have eyelids. So you notice she hasn't been blinking at all. So you will see them licking their eyeballs to keep them moist or to clean them out, especially after I mist down her cage. She will lick her eyeballs and clean them out, to clean her eyeballs and get them nice and wet. So obviously I just said you gotta mist them. They do need humidity, so you are gonna need to mist them down with the little spray bottle once a day at least. Getcha. But other than that, I mean, they are fairly simple. And then one last note, you don't have to worry. While occasionally they will bite, usually as a strike response, thinking that they're getting fed. I've been bit a few times by her because she thought I was a cricket. She was in a feeding frenzy. I had given her live food and a hand came in and she thought it was food. It doesn't hurt at all. They do have teeth, but they are so small and thin and tiny and pretty much practically microscopic, honestly, that you don't feel them. They cannot pierce the skin. It doesn't even feel like needles, nothing. It honestly just felt like an old person forgot to put in their dentures and was trying to gum my hand to death. So it's slimy and wet. That's what it feels like when they bite you, slimy and wet, but there is absolutely not even a small sensation of pricking, nothing at all. So you don't have to worry. So again, be pretty good if you want something really basic. And I can't always handle her. I don't handle her a lot because, like I said, she can be very, very moody. There's times when she just absolutely does not want out and she will threaten to drop her tail, even though she's friendly and familiar with me now and will even let me pet her. Yeah, you're such a cute little girl. So you do have to be aware of that. And every individual is different. Some individuals, they love to be handled. They don't mind it at all. They're really used to it, and they'll never threaten to drop their tail. Other individuals, even from a pet store, will threaten every single time you go in their cage. So it does take a lot of patience to train these guys, and, you know, if you don't want them to drop their tail. But, okay. Yeah, YouTube. So this is Butterscotch. That's her name, by the way, since I forgot to mention that, I think. But yeah, so that's her. And there she's walking up my arm. Don't jump on the camera, girl. Yeah, we see your cute little tongue. Say bye, Butterscotch. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.